What's good, folks? Welcome back to the Pinch Talk. This is episode 10 of the podcast. And man, first of all, I just wanna say on behalf of us both, thank y'all so much for all the support we've been getting. Like this shit's been growing and it's just so rewarding to just see and to just hear people talk about it and tell us like they really fuck with it and they feel like we're making the game more approachable and all that. Like that's just really rewarding. I think I'm speaking for us both here when I say it. Yeah, thank y'all for that, and don't forget that the podcast is available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Anchor, like all them shits you can think of. The podcast will be there. Follow the podcast on the Twitter account because we do a whole lot of good shit there, especially with the baseball terms 101 hashtag. We kind of explain the game to younger people. So this is episode 10. Last week we talked about the return of baseball and the minor leagues, racism in baseball. It was a real action-packed episode. I'm Mario. I'm one of your co-hosts. My co-host is my man Pat. He's here with me. How you feeling, bruh?
I'm good. The world hasn't ended yet as we know it. We've gone through the first week of mini camps and there's been a whole lot of fuckery that's happened as expected when you are trying to play a professional game in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
But honestly, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. When we kind of talk about how the MLB is handling everything, apparently they really weren't as equipped as they thought they were to do the testing and stuff like that. So it's kind of delayed some teams practicing,
Yikes.
which is a big deal because when you have guys that are 3 days behind, when you have certain teams that are 3 days behind other teams when it comes to practicing, and you got guys trying to stretch their arms out so they can pitch, and you have hitters trying to get their timing together and groove their swing correctly, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal.
Yeah, especially with a 60-game season, a slow start can doom you. So we're gonna...
It's a 60-game season, so the margin of error is really, really thin.
So we're gonna kick things off, kick the program in, if you will, with something that we ideally could have done like a couple weeks ago, but shit happens, so it doesn't matter if we do it now. So let's go ahead and let's go for the MLB draft recap. Now, we did a full episode that was just a preview, and we kind of talked about how we expect the teams to draft, how teams actually draft, like some of the top prospects, how we feel about them. It was a bit of a weird first round. Do you agree with that?
It was. Got a couple of guys really slid. You had teams in the back end pick up the guys that were either they're trying to push guys back farther down the draft, so they sign guys that they know they could go for under slot. You have teams that kind of sort of punted the draft but didn't punt the draft. You had teams that you had. It was just a really interesting. You had a lot of teams do a lot of different things, like cover all the different types of draft strategies there is in baseball, just because of COVID and the fact there was only 5 rounds. So teams really didn't have a lot of picks to play around with. I should say. Yeah.
It was a weird first round, like we said, but the first pick was the obvious one, Spencer Torkelson. If I'm pronouncing that shit right, that shit hard to pronounce. Very easy pick. I mean, slam dunk, college hitter who could probably hit cleanup for them right now. I don't think anyone was surprised. The surprises did start at number 2, though. I was not expecting what the Orioles did at all.
The Orioles took Heston Kjerstad from Arkansas, outfielder.
Big power.
He's a top 5, power lefty bat. Played outfield. You're stereotypical right fielder. He was a top 5 pick, but him at second was kind of questionable. But I see what the Orioles are doing with trying to go under slot and distribute their money elsewhere in order to take some other guys and draft some guys that probably had some questionable signability in the back end.
Yeah, I heard there were some people kind of like they thought that they were still like too conservative, considering that they went, underslot at number 2. Um, they did pick up 5 of their 6 picks were hitters, and 4 of them were college hitters. And the Tigers all picked 6 players. They were all hitters. So that was the trend that was going on with the first 2 picks. Then we had the Marlins at 3, and that was another surprise for me.
It kind of was, but it wasn't. Well, you know what? It was actually, because they took Max Meyer, not Zach Vino. I got confused, but it was a little weird. But at the same time, their plan really made sense because they needed some pitching, and they took all college pitchers. And college pitchers usually move through the minors really quickly. And with the position player core that they have, if these college pitchers could jump through the minors in say 2-3 years, then that team, their window could open really soon if everything happens correctly for them.
Absolutely, they took all pitchers to counter what the Orioles and Tigers did before them. Then you had the Royals, and they pitched a shutout, all college players, 4 pitchers and 2 hitters. I was surprised that Lazy fell to them. I thought I would think that they were overjoyed that one happened.
For me, the Royals draft was really interesting. Getting Asa Lacy at 4th was really good, and it's I'm kind of mad because if everything works out for him, he's going to be in the big leagues in a couple of years, striking out the Indians hitters. And historically, the Indians have always had a lot of left-handed hitters in their lineup, just in the Tito Francona era. A lot of left-handers are switch hitters. So it's going to be kind of weird, but one thing the Royals have done lately is focusing on drafting college players, whether it be pitchers or hitters, in the last couple of drafts. They really, after kind of winding out their minor league system the way you're supposed to when you're competing, and for them going to 2 back-to-back World Series after having an historically great farm system. Their farm system before that window, that playoff condition window they had, was one of the best farm systems historically ever in people's opinions.
Look at all the stars, stars and all-star caliber
all the
players.
Stars and starting players on those teams are crazy. It's just, we got to. I don't know. I can't remember the top of my head who was there, but it's just crazy. I mean, when you have a guy like Whit Merrifield toiling in the minors for years, just because he couldn't break through, because he was with those guys in the minor leagues, but he just couldn't break through just because. That says a lot, because Whit Merrifield is one of the best. It's probably the best super utility guy in the MLB right now. Would you say?
Yeah, I can agree. And motherfucker can hit. So, yeah. And the fact that he wasn't able to break through kind of tells you like talent level that was going on at that time. Then you had the Blue Jays right after them, and they, just like the Royals, they went all college players. I don't know if I was surprised, but like Austin Martin, I get it. Like, he was considered a top 3 prospect, so like if he's there at 5, you take him. I don't know where he'll stick in the future though, but I mean, the bad place.
Going to the Blue Jays I think fits for him, because who knows if Bobicek could stick at shortstop, but he might say it just because his bat is so good, and if you could get that value of a bat at shortstop, then you keep him there even if he is kind of shady, because 9 times out of 10 he probably isn't going to be as bad as Derek Jeter.
Yeah. I took mad shots at Jeter too.
Oh man, you've been destroying him lately.
Yeah.
But Austin Martin, he could stick in the center field when they don't really have a center fielder.
Yep.
Since they traded Kevin Pillar, and if he feels like, and if he goes to the majors in 1.5 years, which is extremely possible for him considering how good of a hitter he is.
Yeah,
let's just say, we're just going to say this. His bat is going to play literally anywhere. Second, third, shortstop.
Third is open now, long term.
Yeah, center field, left. Because didn't they move Vladdy to first?
Yeah, they already did.
Oh my goodness!
And I was surprised by that. I was surprised because we talked about this in, I think, on the Blue Jays preview, like the AL East preview, and we both agreed that eventually he was going to have to move. but I didn't think it was going to be
We didn't
this
even
quick.
be this fast. We think it'd be maybe 4 or 5 years, or maybe
Yeah, hell
4 or
no.
5 years probably the most he could stay over there.
They just moved his ass over to first base and just quick. I mean, shit, but
he needs
yeah,
to
that was
go train with Pablo Sandoval or something.
yeah. yo, that dude, like, he eating everything he found, man. From the, my God, that was terrible. Then you had after the Blue Jays, you had the Mariners. Now the Mariners in recent years have picked all college players basically, and they did not disappoint. 3 college pitchers, 3 college hitters. I was cool with them for the most part. I thought it was a pretty solid draft.
Yeah, Jerry Dipoto has really turned the organization around from a development standpoint, especially from a pitching standpoint.
Yeah.
The pitchers they've taken the last couple of years have been really good, and have kind of just sped through the system. And when you have guys like Julio Rodriguez and Jared Kalenic in their system, you just kind of build around them per se.
Yeah.
In a sense, but I like Emerson Hancock a lot. He's going to do great in that system, I think. The Seattle Mariners have really done better at developing pitchers the last few years. I think, in my mind. And so have a lot of other people. But they already have Kyle Lewis at the major leagues, and if he can continue what he did at the end of last year, then the Mariners are a really interesting team from a development standpoint right now.
They are. I mean, if everything goes right, they should be able to finally break that long playoff drought. But that's in like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I say.
Because they're in a tough division.
Unless something crazy happens this year.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that's perfectly fine. So after the Mariners, you got the Pirates. The Pirates were one of those teams that some people were talking that maybe they could punt the draft. Because their owners are cheap ass. They took 5 out of 6 players that they picked. 5 of them were pitchers, mostly college pitchers. I cannot remember. That's my bad. I can't remember who they picked right now in the first round, like the big name. Oh yeah. Basically, Keston Hiura 2.0. Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Keston Hiura without the strikeouts, and he might stick at shortstop.
Yeah,
maybe if he goes to second base, the bat's going to play there. He's a little bit better base runner than Keston Hiura is, but they already have Cole Tucker, the brother of one of the players taking the first round. Cole Tucker at shortstop. They have Cabrian Hayes, son of 13-year big leaguer Charlie Hayes. He should be coming up real soon, I think. And his glove is pure gold.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of other young players in our farm system. They have a 6'9" shortstop named O'Neal Cruz in their farm system right now too.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like, I read scouting reports, and they say his body type is only comparable to Brendan Ingram.
Yo, if he sticks at shortstop, that's gonna be a sight to see.
Like, he's had like 3 growth spurts. So he was 6'2" when he signed with the Dodgers. Then he got traded to the Pirates, and by that time he was like 6'4", 6'5", or maybe even 6'6". And then apparently he's hit another growth spurt, and he's still playing shortstop.
That's crazy. If he's quick, imagine the range.
He has decent range, but he has an 80 grade arm, so
that kind of screams third base.
Like, there's people that wanted him to move to pitcher just because his arm is so good and he's so tall. Like, but he's probably going to be in outfield in the MLB. There's no way someone 6'9" is sticking at shortstop in the major leagues.
I mean, it would be incredible if he did, but yeah, like 6'9", like, no. After the Pirates, we got one of my division rivals, the Padres. Now, this was a really good draft, top to bottom. I liked Hassel. I think he's a really good pure hitter, and I think they signed him for Underslot too. And then they picked Cole Wilcox.
Yeah, them signing Cole Wilcox in the 80th at the 80th pick was great, and they signed him. And they signed the other guys, and then So we'll have to. I can't remember what guys they signed, what undrafted free agents they signed as well, but
They did
we'll
a
have to
good
go
job.
over that later.
They did a good job.
They did.
And they did pick mostly. Well, actually, they spread it out exactly evenly. They picked 3 high school hitters and 3 hitters and 3 pitchers. So I thought that was cool. And then we get to the Colorado Rockies. Now, any of y'all have ever heard me mention the Rockies on this show before, you'll know that I fucking hate this team. I also love them, but I fucking hate this team. So first of all, I'd like to get your take on the Rockies draft, first and foremost.
I already liked the Rockies draft. I was actually surprised they were so competent this year. Just to put it that way. I'm sure you thought the same thing as well, but Zach Veen he looks like he looks like a stereotypical right fielder, but he could signal center field maybe.
I don't see it. I don't think he's fast
enough.
enough.
He's too big, but I mean, if he can maintain his speed, maybe. But honestly, his swing is amazing. It's Larry Walker, Cody Bellinger ish.
So fluid. Like, it's incredible.
It's fluid, but it has a lot of torque to it. Drew Romo at 35th is a reasonable gamble considering how good his hands are. And that's the most important thing with a catcher, being able to be a defensive catcher. And he profiles as a plus blocker, plus framer, plus arm. He's a switch hitter, so that's interesting. The bat, it's bat over power right now, but if he can develop some power and be physical, then he could
just average.
He could just make
average,
it, but
he'll be amazing.
Yeah, but honestly, with Drew Romo, is how he handles the learning curve of being an MLB catcher and dealing with the physicality of catching full time.
Yeah,
professional.
He's well built for it, but yeah. And then, well, actually, you got anything else on the Rockies draft class?
I like how you guys took all pitchers. You took 2 pitchers from Miami and Clemson, which is interesting. I don't really know much about the rest of the draft besides being in Romo, honestly. If you got something you want to say, go ahead. Actually, it's interesting they took another Colorado pitcher as well. That's the trend.
That's something that I am going to mention. So my take on it, right? They didn't fuck up. Holy shit. They didn't fuck up. Yo, I was watching the draft. I'm like, yo, there's no way this is for real. Zach Veen at 9? I saw him like between picks 4 and 6. I'm like, there's no way. I thought for sure that when they were gonna pick Ray Detmers, I was like, that's just the most Rockies pick ever. Pick a low ceiling college pitcher with plus control that's just gonna get smoked in Coors Field because you don't get away with 93 mile an hour mistakes over the middle of the plate. Anyway, Zach Veen at 9 is amazing. Obviously, no pick is guaranteed. But we already talked about, like, his swing is like Bellinger-esque. He hits the ball in that kind of way. He's incredibly smooth, and he smacks the shit out of the ball. And the thing is, he's more hit over power now, but that's because his stance is kind of it has a slight crouch to it. And when you look at Bellinger, for example, he stands very straight up. So I think that I don't think they'll completely change that, but they'll probably switch it up a little bit, and he'll be able to tap into his power because he has some bat speed that's just amazing. And
it's all fields too. He doesn't just yank the ball.
He has incredible bat speed. Yeah,
he has a grown man strength.
And he's like what, like 6'4", some shit like that, 6'4", 190. Something like that. Like, he's tall. Like, he got the kind of that tall, lanky build, but he's gonna add some muscle, and he's gonna smoke the ball because, like, the bat control, the bat speed, and then also the approach. He's very patient. He draws walks. He's selective. Like, I fucking love this pick. I don't give a I don't think there's a chance he sticks at center field, especially at Coors Field. But I think he'll be a fine right fielder, and the bat is going to play. Drew Romo. Again, I love this pick. I was like, yo, I can't believe these motherfuckers are taking risks. I'm like, a high school catcher in the second round, and a high school catcher with concerns about whether he'll sign or not because he had a really strong commitment to LSU. I was like, yo, and we kind of already talked about him a little bit, so I'll be brief. I've heard some people say that he could probably catch in the big leagues right now. Like, that's the kind of like his ability as a high school kid. Like, that's very rare. Typically, when you see high school catchers get drafted, you typically see really athletic kids with big arms and power bat, or like the bat is way ahead of the glove. But his case is different. He's all around terrific defender, very advanced. Like, he just moves real natural behind the plate. He's a switch hitter. I doubt he'll ever be like a 120 WRC plus kind of guy. I doubt he'll ever hit 25 home runs, but it doesn't matter. If he can just be an average hitter, he'll produce incredible value because the glove, he's gonna stick at catcher long term. Like, I'll be shocked if he doesn't make it to the majors. That's my take on him. After that, again, I loved it. Chris McMahon from Miami. He's a righty. He's a starter, and he has fastball in the mid 90s. And it can touch 96, 97, so there's none of that low 90s bullshit they do. He has solid command. He has very good feel for his changeup, and also a very nice slider. Again, I like it. 3-pitch mix. The slider profiles real well at Coors Field, better than the curveball. So I loved it. And then Sam Weatherly. This is another pick I loved. This is a cat. It's a cat who pitched in relief most of his college career, but then they moved him to the rotation this year, and he was striking out like 18 batters per 9 or some shit, or some wild shit like that. Like, he was putting up insane strikeout numbers. His main issue is that he does not command his fastball well, which is kind of weird, especially considering that he's really athletic. I don't know if that's an issue that you've seen before, like because fastball command, like, especially from real athletic pitchers, is not something that you expect to happen long term, is it?
Fastball command, it depends on organizations. Some organizations are better at helping guys refine their mechanics and get better. But some pitchers kind of figure things out also. But in a place like Coors Field, or even in the minor leagues where they have high altitude venues, to mimic it and help guys, it's a big deal because mistakes are going to get crushed.
Yeah, and you can't,
especially with how weird the ball is now.
Yeah, and you can't be walking nobody. So I loved all those picks because, see, I mean, high school picks by default are high risk because they're high school kids. But even the college pitchers they took had some quote unquote risk, but also a lot higher ceiling than you would expect. I think McMahon can, if he figures it out, he can be a mid-rotation starter. He's got a good 3-pitch mix. He's athletic. And Weatherly, I think he can be a real good, mostly 2-pitch starter. Like, he'll have to develop a changeup, but his slider is wipeout already. So then after that, you mentioned him. They took Case Williams, high school kid from Colorado. Now, he doesn't have overwhelming stuff. Like, I've seen decent changeup, and the fastball can touch the mid-90s, low mid-90s, like around like 92, 93. But he's a Colorado kid, so he's been pitching at altitude his entire life. So that is going to be a plus. I would bet on him making at least some development. And then on their 5th round pick, I can't remember dude's name, I'm sorry. But they basically took the classic, college shortstop, contact approach, will probably play all around the infield, kind of like a super utility guy. Draft grade for them, A fucking plus. I mean, is there anything else to say, fam? I mean, they made me happy for the first time in like 2 years. So, well, like a year and a half. So, yeah, I got nothing else. I already spoke way too fucking much about the Rockies, but yeah, fuck this team, but I love this team as well. And their draft was fucking great. Now, please, if you can speak a little bit about the Angels, because I need to drink some water.
All right.
Whoa, shit!
The Angels. Oh man, the Los Angeles Angels. Okay. Reed Detmers, they needed that badly. They needed that so badly.
Yeah, he might pitch in the majors this year.
Yeah, he could pitch in the majors probably tomorrow. They took David Calabrese. This center field class was really, really deep this year. There's a lot of, I mean, outfield class in general, but there's a lot of great high school center fielders in this class. Yep. And that's kind of just going to be repeated constantly in this draft. There's like maybe 4 or 5 good center fielders taken. They took Warner Blakely, a high school shortstop, and they took 2 left-handed college pitchers and 2 high school position players. And honestly, I really don't know nothing about the Angels and how they kind of structure everything. But honestly, it was a pretty good draft considering the top 2 names who I know of.
Yeah, and considering they only had 4 picks, I think they did a good job.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job, and also they really need this because their minor league system is pretty much terrible. Besides Joe Adele and what's his face? I forgot Brandon Marsh. Yeah, Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, yeah, those are the only 2 prospects. Those and the Temptations, as you say. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. They have no pitching. I could pitch in a rotation right now, honestly.
The funny shit is, you're not wrong at all.
No, like I probably could. Like I really could.
But yeah, so you like the Reed Detmers pick was just so telegraphed once the Rockies passed on him. The White Sox were up next. Now they took 4 college pitchers and another high school pitcher. They didn't take no hitters at all. I don't know if that surprised me a little bit.
No, considering how stacked they are from a position player standpoint, and they have a log jam right now with how they're kind of sifting through the guys, position players, and their pitchers haven't really reached yet, and they got a lot of veterans in the rotation right now. They need this because some of these guys are probably going to wind up being relievers just based on the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But honestly, I really like their draft. It fits them. They take a lot of college players, and that's what they did here. They stuck to their draft model. They just focus on pitching instead of hitters because they already have a talented position player group that's on the cusp of the major leagues.
No. They're real impact talents as well. So, okay, so after the White Sox, the Reds. Now, on this one, I actually got to give you credit, bro. Because you fucking called it. We talked about him on the draft preview, and you said they'd like to go after high school hitters, and they did that because they picked 3 high school hitters. Were you surprised also by the fact that then they also split it the other way and they went and picked college pitchers? I thought they did an okay job.
Not really. It was not really. I mean, Austin Hendrick has roots to the Reds organization. Like his dad or something was like the former GM there or something like that. And they've also taken older guys before. The rest of the picks, I'm not really surprised about. Mac Wainwright went to St. Edward's High School in Cleveland, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to him. I really don't give a fuck about the Reds, honestly. Just if we're being real here.
Especially when the next team up is one Cleveland Indians. Now, I talked about the Rockies a lot last time, so the floor is yours, my man. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Cleveland Indians draft. I'm really satisfied with this draft. It just kind of shows how great this team is, this organization is at drafting and developing guys and sticking to their models. First pick, 23rd pick, Carson Tucker. I'm excited about this guy a lot. I feel like if they played a full season high school ball and they had the draft and they had high school ball and all that stuff, he probably would have went higher based on how he had a lot of helium coming into the draft. He had a growth spurt. He's a younger brother of a major league player, and the younger brothers usually are the better players Interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
He's gonna stick at shortstop, which has his value there. He has a plus hit tool. He has some raw power as well, and he has plus speed also. Tanner Burns, uh, one of the probably one of the best college pitchers in his draft. He had a 2.86 ERA at Auburn, and he had 210 strikeouts in 180 innings, which is amazing. They took a left-handed pitcher named Logan Allen, which is funny because there's two left-handed pitchers named Logan Allen in the Indians farm system now. He's not a stereotypical lefty, but he's pretty good. I'm really excited to see how he does. I'm really excited to see all the pitchers. I'm beginning to give this organization a bit of the doubt on pitchers and how they developed them. They took P.D. Halpin, a center fielder, bat first guy out of California, which fits a draft model, and he's young, which fits a draft model. And he had signability concerns, but them taking Stucker at underslot allowed them to get P.D. Halpin at 95, which is amazing because it just shows you how strategic they are and how confident they are developing guys. They took a shortstop Milan Tolentino from California. Fits a draft model again. He's a high school player. Fits a draft model again, and he's a brother of a player who was in the Indians farm system, a catcher, Patrick Tolentino. And his father played in the big leagues for 13 years. So bloodlines again. And the last pick was Mason Hickman, the Friday night starter for Vanderbilt, which is one of the best college programs for baseball, and if not the best. Vanderbilt is known for developing his college pitchers, but lately they haven't really been as good. Their college pitchers have been as good when they've gotten to the minors and the majors as they were. Maybe David Price and pre that point. Mason Hickman is 6'6", and he only sits low 90s, like 90, 93, but the Indians have been known to give guys velocity jumps. So it's interesting. Honestly, overall with the Indians draft, they stuck their draft model, young high school players. They took up the middle young high school players, 2 shortstops, and a center fielder. And they took college pitchers, 2 righties and a lefty, who were all really good and were among probably the best pitchers on their staffs of the respective colleges. And they all have strikeout rates above 8 and walk rates below 3. And that's pretty much what the Indians draft model is.
Yeah, this draft was as Indians as it gets, really. Like if you want the blueprint for how the Indians like to draft, just look at this draft right here.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, it was funny.
They didn't do any stupid shit or risky shit. They just kind of stuck to their guns.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, honestly, and I was a bit underwhelmed at first with the first round pick, but as the draft move on, and it's real easy to overreact in the draft because like teams have actual like strategies for as the rounds move on. But yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed at first, and I think I told you about it, but right now, after the dust has already settled, I like their draft. I agree with you. They did a typical Indians draft. It works well. They're a good, competent organization. They develop players well. I like their draft a lot. So yeah, that's what I got. You got anything else?
Nothing.
All right. So after that, we got the Giants. Fuck them, by the way. And they had 7 picks, which is, I think, the most of any team. They took 6 of them were college players. The Giants, we're going to talk about some of their future later on when we talk about players who've opted out. But they just took anyone they could because this team is not going to be good in a long time. So might as well take the best player, right?
Yeah, this draft was weird. Although I do kind of get the Patrick Bailey pick, considering Buster Posey is pretty much done. Joey Bart's going to be in the majors probably this year. Probably.
Yeah, more on that to come later, folks.
Yeah, more on that to come later. But college guys, the head of their organization, he used to work with the Dodgers, so he's competent. Yeah, it's the Giants. They're gonna be contending in another probably 5 years, anyways. So
they'll win another They'll make a World Series before the Rockies do, and the Rockies have a head start. Moving on.
Man, the Giants are like the Patriots of the MLB. They just
like the Spurs or some shit.
The Spurs. They just figure it out. They just find a way.
Really impressive what being a good organization can do for you. Anyway, the Rangers, talking about weird organizations. I don't fucking remember like a whole lot like being real impressed about anything they did or being not impressed about anything they did. It was just kind of middle of the road for me. They took a lot of high school players though.
Yeah, they took 4 high school players and a college player. They took a second baseman out of Mississippi State who had 297, 380, 482, and 141 games in college and more walks and strikeouts. Okay, this is the Rangers. And you guys, we don't show this interest about these teams because they're not our favorite teams. There's just some of these teams it's hard to kind of analyze the habits, tendencies, and everything. Yeah, especially when it's like lame organizations like this. But
some drafts are boring.
I'm gonna give them the benefit. MLB draft is so boring because you're not gonna see these guys for 3 years. Probably you're not gonna see these guys never because they probably won't make the major leagues in general. Yeah. But especially this year since there's no minor leagues, so we can't really follow up on this right away or just in general. Not to mention, I'm gonna give this team just the benefit of the doubt because this is one of the teams that has a organizational tree to the Indians because Indians front office guys are everywhere. They're like ticks or bed bugs.
They're everywhere.
Yeah,
because they're competent. See?
I'm sorry you can't relate, but Texas, one college guy, 4 high school guys.
Fuck the Rockies, go on. The Phillies. I'm just weird. I'm just in a good mood, people. Like that's just it. I'm in a good mood, so I'm just doing stupid shit. You mind if we move to the Phillies?
Yeah, I like their draft a lot. Actually,
me too.
It could have been a lot worse. They could have done some off the wall shit.
Yeah, they took some good players. They were one of the teams that I saw when I saw many different writers, many different people grading drafts. I saw the Phillies as a team that, for what they had, because they only had 4 picks, they did a good job, much like the Angels. So kudos to them. Who was Mika Bell? Is that his name?
Yeah, Mika Bell. He was their first pick.
I like that. I like that pick a lot. And yeah, that's what I got. You got anything on the Phillies aside from liking the draft?
No.
So moving on, a team that we both love, the Chicago Cubs. I like their draft as well. Ed Howard, I liked him a lot.
Yes,
I liked him a lot, and hopefully he can stick long term. He's a local kid too.
Yeah, fun fact about Ed Howard, he was on the Chicago. So Ed Howard is from Chicago, born and raised, which is cool to play for a team in your hometown. That's just dope as fuck. He was on the Chicago Little League World Series team that won the Little League World Series. That had the lefty, the black girl who was a lefty who pitched. I cannot remember her name right now, but she was cool as fuck. Shout out to her. One interesting guy they took was Luke Little, a left-handed pitcher from junior college, who can pitch up to 105 miles per hour. He's like 6'6", 6'7", and he got the spotlight because of the Flag Ground app, which is used by Pitching Ninja on Twitter at Pitching Ninja. He's dope as fuck. If you're trying to get into baseball, go follow him right now. Just do it right now. I don't care if you gotta like paused us to do it. Go follow him. Because this guy is not only good because he shows you nasty ass pitches and how pitching works, but he uses his platform in order to get guys from small colleges, junior colleges, high schools, and stuff like that seen and exposure to major league organizations. And some of these guys are getting signed as free agents. Some of these guys are getting drafted, and it's crazy. And Luke Little's just another example.
Yeah.
A left-hander who can touch 105 miles per hour, and he's 6'6". That's just crazy. Yeah. That's scary. Like, you think every pitch is coming at you.
Yeah. I mean, you just cannot cut. I can't imagine hitting 102 miles an hour, something like that. I cannot imagine that. I feel like it's fair that we move on to the Red Sox. Now, this is a team. The fucking Red Sox. First of all, fuck them. And then when they made their first round pick, I'm like, oh, this is the team that was going to punt the draft. Everyone on my timeline was confused that was talking about baseball. Everyone was like, what the fuck did they just do?
And then with Nick York, the crazy thing about it is he didn't even go for that much under slot. Like, he went less under slot than Carson Tucker did.
Yeah.
And Nick York was seen as a second or third round talent. And they took him at 17. And then you give a second baseman that much money, and a high school second baseman at that. They took Blaze Jordan, which is one of the coolest names of this draft for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool fucking name.
And he's not going to turn 17 in December, and he's already hitting 500. He's not going to turn 18 in December, and he's already hitting 500-foot home runs, which should tell you how talented he is. And they took 2 left-handed pitchers because they lost their second round draft pick this year. Yeah,
slap on the wrist. Then the D-backs. This, first of all, I gotta say, pains me to say, but the D-backs are a really annoyingly competent organization, and I think they showed it again here. They had a pretty straight draft to me. I'm looking at what they did here. Bryce Jarvis, I like some of their picks. I thought they did a pretty good job with what they had.
Yeah, Bryce Jarvis they took 18th overall. He was drafted in 37th round 2019, but he then had a 10 mile per hour jump on his fastball. And he now sits 96, 97, and he went 18th overall now. So he got some big money. He got first round money. So that's crazy. You go from the 37th round to the first round as a college pitcher. Like, he bet on himself big, and he killed it. We took Slade Sassoni from Miami, another really good pitcher who has a really cool last name. And they took 2 high school players and another college player. So, honestly, Diamondbacks are really competent, as Mario said. So, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, no problem with it. You trust them.
Mm-hmm. After that, we got the team that is the opposite of that, and that's the New York fucking Mets. The clown show of baseball, basically. Well, actually, the popular clown show, because the Rockies exist as well, but they're the popular clown show. So I thought that was cool. I thought what they did was
pretty good. It could have been worse. Precor Armstrong was another one of the talented center fielders, high school center filders in this draft. They took JT Jen, who was a pitcher from Mississippi State, who I could see the Indians picking. And that's pretty much it, honestly. The draft was really good.
Yeah. I liked it. It was very, very solid, very competent, not what you expect from the Mets. Moving on to the Brewers. Now, they were real radical. They had an approach, and they went with it. They had 5 picks. They took all college hitters. I thought it was okay. I don't have anything overwhelming for them, but I thought it was fine. They had a plan and they stuck with it. Garrett Mitchell, I was surprised to see him drop that much though.
Yeah, it was weird, but oh shit, that's cool. They took a black catcher. Wow, I haven't seen that in a long time. They took Garrett Mitchell, probably college center fielder. He was gonna hit. He's fast too. So he's going to stay in center field, and they kind of need that because Corey Ray is probably going to be a major leaguer or a full-time major leaguer. It took Reggie Zamora from Miami, who was a really good high school player but went to college instead. He has injury concerns, but it should be pretty good. It took Xavier Warren from Central Michigan. That should be really cool. All college players, they kind of need that because our farm system is really weak, and they need contributions because it's a competitive window.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But honestly, I like the draft. They're a really good organization, so it could be worse.
We talked and when we were talking about the what was the team that we talked about? That was the Spurs. I can't remember. We mentioned the 5 days ago. What was it? The Giants. And then we go to another team that could take that name, the Cardinals. I also like their draft a lot. I really did. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, the Cardinals, I like them a lot. Jordan Walker, who was another young guy, 6'5", 220. He can stick at third base, but he has huge power. He has a high upside prospect, which is what the Cardinals do. Cardinals take guys of value, and they took 3 high school players, and then they took the rest of them college players. And all these guys are interesting, and they're all going to contribute and stuff like that because it's the Cardinals.
Yeah, they had a bit of a interesting situation because they had 7 picks, but they didn't have a big bonus pool, so they had to be efficient, like you said. I think they did a pretty reasonable job. Then the Nats, the World Series champions. I was not surprised at all. They went mostly college players. I think they're trying to expand this window for as long as they can.
Mm-hmm. They took 4 pitchers, 2 position players. 2 position players are shortstops and a shortstop and a catcher. So actually, they took 1 high school player, and that was a shortstop. So it's interesting. We should see what happens with them. They kind of played it safe, I guess, considering how short the scouting period was. They took guys that have a history, so that's interesting.
Yeah. After them, we got the Rays. They took 6 players, and I expect them all to at least reach AAA and eventually the major leagues because it's the Rays. I thought they had a bit of a weird draft. I saw some people that did not like it. I don't know.
For me, the first 2 picks they did and the first 2 picks of the Indians, they were kind of interchangeable because the Rays and Indians have very similar philosophies, which is pitching and middle infielders. But getting Nick Pisco at 24, and then taking Alika Williams at 37 allows them to afford Nick Pisco, and then they took the rest college, 3 college pitchers and another college shortstop, which shows the organizational philosophy, which is shortstops and pitchers. The Rays are a great draft organization, easily one of the best in the business.
Yep.
You give them the benefit of the doubt, and them getting Nick Bisco at 24 and signing him and getting him away from his commitment is a big deal also.
Yep. After them, the Atlanta Braves. This is a team that is entering the competitive window. They have a lot of momentum right now. They have good prospects at the top of the farm, but it's not as good as it was a couple of years ago. They picked, if I'm not mistaken, they picked all college players, 4 college players. I haven't seen many overwhelming reviews about their draft class. I don't know if you have.
It was a really meh overall review. 3 college pitchers and a college outfielder. We'll have to see what happens with them.
Yeah, I'm seeing like C+ grades, like B-, like just C grades. Like they didn't wow anybody, basically. That's what we're saying. After them, the Oakland A's. Were they the team that picked Tyler Soderstrom? Because I think I'm fucking up. Yeah. So
and they put him in him in Major League camp already.
Yeah. So that's how confident they are about the bat. I don't know if he'll stick at catcher long term, but if he just can,
he was on high school player. They took too.
Yeah, that's actually right. That's actually right.
Yeah, they
Everything else
took
was college players.
yeah, 4 3 college pitchers and a college outfielder.
Yeah.
Even if Tyler Shersham does a catcher, he's athletic. He's really athletic for a catcher, and he might play right field, and he might be a plus right defender because he has a good arm too. A's know the Moneyball team. They know how to draft and develop guys, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna trust them on this draft.
Yeah, me too. After this, we got your favorite team. So you can just take the stage on this one. The Minnesota Twins. How do you feel about their draft? And how do you feel about them? Let us know, man.
I actually like their draft. Aaron Sabato, he's a hitter. He hit 343, 453, 696 in the 2019 season with 18 home runs, 64 games. He's a first baseman, and you really don't see first baseman go that high, but it's interesting. They took 2 college players in the first 2 rounds, and they took 2 high school players in the last 2 rounds. So I have to see how they do. But I mean, the Twins are a very good organization. I'm waiting to see which one of these guys gets the majors and torches the Indians.
Oh shit!
That's how
I kind of agree with Pat. I thought their draft was pretty good. Then the Yankees, they only had 3 picks, which I think is the least of any team. I don't remember why that is. I think they forfeited a couple to sign Garrett Cole or some shit.
They bought all the fucking undrafted free agent stuff. So
yeah, I mean that's Yankee shit. They just pay everyone more money. So, did you like their draft though?
It was cool. I mean, it's the Yankees. They know to develop guys, and they have the best resources because they're the Yankees. So they're probably gonna eat nutritious meals and shit in the minor league system. It's the Yankees. I won't be surprised if any of these guys mention the majors and wound up being solid players or all-stars or some shit like that, because that's what happens when you get drafted by the Yankees.
Yeah. Similarly, the Dodgers were up next. They took a
Oh
lot
my goodness, Dodgers Yankees back to back. What the fuck?
They took a lot of college pitchers. I don't have a whole lot to say on any of them individually, just like what Pat said. Fuck the Dodgers, by the way. And all these players will eventually be competent to some extent, pretty much, because it's the fucking Dodgers. They'll just...
Bobby Miller has a 98 mile per hour 2-seamer, and then moves like a frisbee. And this is unfair. He's going to the organization like the Dodgers. And one thing you guys should know, the Dodgers know how to develop pitchers and they develop hitters. And their 5th round pick was a guy named Gavin Stone from Central Arkansas, and that's the coolest name ever.
Gavin Stone.
Like that's just that's a badass name. And they have a guy named Landon Knack. They took second with their 2nd pick.
Yo, baseball got some funny ass fucking names, man.
Yeah,
that's one of the funniest things in baseball. Just
Clayton Beater.
Yo, that was hilarious to see. I'm like, dog, that is the whitest fucking name I've ever heard in my life.
That's the most Texas name ever. Like
Clayton Beater. God damn. Yeah, basically all these players the Dodgers took will be major leaguers because that's my luck. And then you had the Astros. The Astros did not have.
They're gonna trade them for some superstar or some shit.
Yeah, pretty much. And the ones that stay with the Dodgers and make it to the major leagues, they'll strike out Brendan Rodgers 5 times a game. Then you got the Astros. The Astros did not have a 1st round pick. Slap on the wrist for what they did, and I don't think anyone gave a fuck about their draft. Really, they were just too busy telling them to go fuck themselves. So that applies to me too.
They took a pitcher named Ty Brown from Vanderbilt, and he set a school record with 17 saves. So don't be. They just know how to draft and develop and scout. It's the Astros. They're cheaters, yes, but they know how to develop and draft guys.
Yeah, I'm just talking shit, but
yeah, they're gonna. I won't be surprised if any of these guys make it to the majors and are all stars. 5-6 years.
Yeah. So
Just
that was
because
pretty much the draft. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much
That
it.
was pretty much the draft, man. Like it was a lot. Go ahead. It's my bad. I just cut you off twice in a row.
Nah, it's cool. This draft was really interesting to watch, and it was really digestible and cool to follow because it was short, very very short.
Yeah.
MLB drafts are usually 40 rounds.
Ain't nobody following 40 rounds, man. I'm sorry.
Honestly, we don't even get paid to do this, and I even get paid to do this shit. I will not cover a 40-round draft. And there are guys who do this shit and know the tendencies of the organizations and all these players, high school, college guys and stuff. That's just following college baseball by itself is difficult as is, and it's just you know.
Yeah. So basically, a salute to those soldiers who just spend hours and hours and hours following this shit. Salute to y'all.
Yeah, you make it easier for us and everybody else. But this is probably the only time we're ever gonna go through a MLB draft from front to back.
Yeah,
in our lives. I think after this, even if it's 20 rounds, we're still gonna just focus on our team probably.
Yeah, and just do a quick recap of everything else. So, so y'all got some exclusive shit. Anyway, so I think it's kind of a natural, transition to move on from draft and new players coming to the teams to focus on kind of what the teams are doing with their rosters, because some players are opting out. You got the list of the players that are opting out right there?
Yes, I do. The players have opted out this season. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Leake of the Diamondbacks. Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals. Joe Ross of the Nationals. Ian Desmond of the Rockies. David Price of the Dodgers. Tyson Ross of the Giants. Felix Hernandez of the Braves. Nick Markakis of the Braves. Buster Posey of the Giants. And Michael Kopech of the White Sox.
Yeah. One trend among all those, except for Michael Kopech, all National League players. That was something that I found funny. And basically all of them, if I'm not mistaken, pretty established players already.
Yes.
Kopech one was the one that really surprised me.
It was, considering the fact that he missed 2019 because of Tommy John. Yeah. And the fact that the season got pushed up, which means he had more, maybe he could have broken into the roster instead of having to sit in AAA. But it makes sense. I read his statement and I respect it. Hats off to him. Hats off to the other players, especially David Price and Ian Desmond, with everything going on right now and how they're specifying and what they're doing outside of baseball. David Price gave $1,000, I think, to every minor league player in the Dodge organization, which is just, he's always been the class act. One thing about David Price is, here's a tidbit for you guys. Indians pitcher Zach Plesac debuted against the Red Sox last year, and David Price gave him a letter in his locker that said, "Congratulations on getting called up," because that's the first pitcher he faced.
That's just that's a good motherfucker right there.
Yeah, David Price. Come on. You cannot complain about David Price, and I know he had his warts, especially him going to the Red Sox and giving him all that money and stuff like that. And I would say it's confidently. Part of the reason the Red Sox fans are so hard on David Price because he's black. I will say that confidently, and even when he has a problem, pull up on me. For sure.
I mean, you're not wrong. So.
Oh, I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong.
It's fucking Boston, dog. Like,
yeah, it's Boston. David Price is a class act. He's a good dude. On a baseball
sense, it hurts the Dodgers a lot, actually. To me.
Yeah.
But that's just on a baseball sense.
Yeah. Yeah. We went over why Ian Desmond opted out in our last episode. Yeah. Salute to him and his pregnant wife. I hope they're healthy and safe. Joe Ross and Tyler Ross are actually brothers, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
I did not expect Felix to opt out. I did not.
I didn't, but especially since it's kind of like his last hurrah, especially on a playoff team, which he hasn't experienced. Yeah. Nick Markakis opting out kind of made sense considering his family. A lot of these guys are have families already, have
Yeah,
kids and stuff. That's or veterans. So that's one.
they're in
That's
their
one big
30s.
deal.
Yeah,
Yes, in the 30s. A lot of these guys have pregnant wives and newborns and
yeah.
stuff too.
Same reason why Mike Trout has said he's not all the way comfortable. And let's make one thing clear, people. When we're talking about players who opt out, we're not shitting on them at all for opting out. Like, it's
No,
your health, it's your
we're
family's health.
applauding them
Like,
actually because,
yeah,
and
you
I
take
think one
that.
trend you're gonna see is more established guys opting out.
Yeah, you're not going to see many young cats take
No,
the
because
season
they
off.
need to
They
sell.
know.
They don't have. They can't. They might not be able to afford to opt out. Over being
Exactly,
honest.
especially like AAA guys who are not on the 40-man roster. Come on, man. Like,
And you're on the cusp of getting major league money. I mean, even if it is like only $200,000 in a shortened season.
yeah, it's still major league money, and you've been
Yeah.
making pennies on the dollar in the minors. So you're not going to see a lot of young players skip the season. That's why the Michael Kopech shit really surprised me. But, you know,
Especially since he was going to get reps and he was a top prospect also.
yeah. Teams are just going to play those games, though. Like, with their prospects, you're going to see, like, players, teams have already put their good prospects on the 60-man roster so they can actually get development time. So you're going to see all that. Like, you've seen, like, the Rockies have Ryan Rollison and a lot of their top guys right now playing with the major leaguers, which I think is a good thing. Like all the other teams, they're doing this right now, so it kind of lets you know which prospects an organization real values, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of like showing their hand with that. We kind of talked about trades a little bit last week. You said you didn't expect many.
I don't expect
agree.
a lot. If we do, it's going to be maybe like for a depth guy, like a team that needs a back end starter. I don't think we've seen like blockbuster trades like Arenado or Lindor getting traded because their trade value is pretty much gone at this point. Unless the team just says fuck it and gives them what they want. We're going to see some relievers get traded probably, maybe. You might see a desperate team give away a couple prospects possibly. And that's another reason why teams are putting their best prospects on these rosters, I think, just so they can be tradable. And one big thing too, you guys, as I said last week, you can see a lot of players to be named later as a loophole in order to allow trades to happen where guys can trade guys that are on that are not on the 60-man roster to trade them later. Because now, the only players that can be traded are guys on the 60-man roster. So that's another big facet that should be taken into account.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the health measurements that MLB is taking, there's been some. How do I say this? There's been some weird shit going on, like teams not getting tests back. Like the test results back. Like players from other countries getting their flights delayed and not being able to get there on time. Like I know, like Height of the Earth, for example, Rockies reliever, he has like 99-mile-an-hour sinker shit, but like he wasn't able to get to the U.S. Until like yesterday, like 2 days ago, or some shit like that, and that's happening for other players. But I think that all things considered, I think MLB's done a decent job because they're testing a lot of people, and the amount, like I think the percentage of positive tests that's coming back is like less than 1%, which I think is pretty good so far.
Yeah, I agree. It could be worse, so we'll just have to see if they can be consistent. One thing we've seen is players really stepping up and doing their part to make sure people wear masks.
Yeah,
like
letting people know.
Yeah, like I know what's his name? Clint Fraser said that he's gonna wear his mask when he goes to hit and when he's playing, just to give people a good example.
Damn, I didn't see that.
And I know with the Indians, when you have Carlos Carrasco, who's a survivor of leukemia, who had leukemia last year, the Indians gave him his own wing of the facility to change and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
Rockies
they also
did the same with David Dahl.
And they also sent because didn't David Dahl have his pancreas or something like that taken out?
David Dahl has no spleen.
Oh yeah,
mistaken.
okay. Yeah, he did. He had a spleen removed. It was a spleen. And if people don't know, your spleen is like a part of your immune system, like regulation, something like that.
He's high risk, so
Yeah, very high risk. But and the Indians also had a player, Fenway Reyes, who switched to be a starting right fielder. He was seen on social media at a party for 4th of July with no mask on, and the Indians sent him home with tell him don't come back until after you tested negative. And he was really apologetic, but they really used it as a learning. He wasn't really in trouble or anything like that. Just kind of used it as a teaching moment to their players. That even when they're off the field, to be diligent, because you have guys that are still trying to play and things like that. And when you have an old coaching staff like they do as well, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because you're putting yourself, but you're also putting other people in danger. You gotta be responsible for that. One thing you're gonna see, folks, is you're gonna see a lot of intra-squad games. You're gonna see teams play actual games, regular baseball games, within their actual teams, and a lot of them are being broadcasted. So hats off to the teams that are doing that. And I think that kind of brings us to the other topic that we kind of could talk about: the blackouts. Do you mind explaining to the people listening what the blackouts actually are?
Yes. So all 30 MLB teams have TV deals made where regionally, locally, they're broadcasting, they make money off them. Some teams have their own broadcasting networks that they use, aka the big market teams, the Yankees, Dodgers, Angels, Red Sox too, where their revenue is just tied to that, so they're getting all the revenue and all the shares. You have other teams like the Indians who have a deal with Fox Sports to broadcast their games. The Cardinals do also, I know. And so do most MLB teams in general have a deal with the outside source to broadcast their games. I know that. I know the Blue Jays, they're owned by the company that broadcasts their games.
That's interesting.
The Rogers Network or something like that. Something, I don't know. I have to do some research, but they're a huge company in Canada, so they kind of have their hands in everything. But back to the blackouts. The blackouts are what happens when people try to access games online or through their cable service provider locally. So for me, I experienced a blackout when I used MLB TV to watch a baseball game. And it's really convenient. So either I find a link on Reddit that's illegally streaming the game, or I use a VPN in order to watch the game on MLB TV. Because that's some bullshit.
Yeah, and here's the thing. And you left out the third option that people have. You have the links. You can use a VPN. What's the third option that a lot of people can do if they cannot access the games they want? They fucking leave. They don't watch them shits at all. So how does this make sense? How does this make sense, MLB? This is a message for you, MLB. How does this make sense? How does it make sense to... First of all, baseball is struggling big time. We know this. With creating fans and with maintaining fan interest. What fucking sense does it make, right? What sense does it make to block people from a certain region from watching their team? If you're in Colorado, for example, and you have MLB TV, you can't watch the Rockies. What fucking sense does that make? Dude, like, what the fuck? And I get it. They want you to watch games on cable because they want you to watch games and give them money to the provider they signed the contract with. And they want you to go to the ballpark. But say you live, bro, I don't live in the USA, right? Never have. But if I'm not mistaken, the USA is a pretty big fucking country. Am I wrong?
Yes, it is. It's a big fucking country.
It's a big fucking country. So let's say you live 150 miles away from the nearest ballpark. And that's close to a ballpark. Say you live 150 miles, 200 miles away from a ballpark, and you don't have cable because, also, am I wrong here? A lot of people, less people each fucking year have cable because it has no use, basically. So put that together. You don't have cable. You live hundreds of miles away from a ballpark, but still, still in your state, and you want to watch your team on MLB TV. Turns out you can't fucking watch your team because MLB is being greedy as fuck, and they're only taking the bottom line. Once again, MLB, what sense does that make? You are stopping people from watching baseball. It's like you don't want them to watch at all. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's as simple as I can put it, really. I mean, is there anything else?
No, you pretty much covered all the bases.
Like, what the fuck? And just like we said, people are either gonna stream it illegally, they're gonna, use a VPN, so they shit on you, MLB, or they just don't watch them at all. Especially now, when people are home, and you have the opportunity to attract more fans and bring more eyes to the game, and actually gain some audience, which is what you need, because obviously you've already decided to destroy the minor leagues, which is one very important thing in creating new fans from scratch, right? Since you've decided to, get rid of that because it doesn't save you fucking money, then what sense does it make to stop people from watching the product? Idiots. I'm done, dog.
Honestly, you covered everything. You pretty much said you said what I wanted to say. You said what I wanted. It's stupid. It's counterproductive. It doesn't help at all. And not to mention the MLB's social media presence is hurtful as well. The fact that we can't see into the dugouts and see these player interactions and clubhouse things. Well, mind you, baseball players are very private, and it's different. And locker rooms are private as well. Just put these guys on the fucking computer screen, man. God damn. Get these guys some fucking exposure. Like, mind you, Mike Trout has the personality of a bottle of water. You got Ronald Acuna Jr., Francisco Lindor, etc. All the guys you know about. You got Josh Donaldson is a fucking nutcase. Give him. Did you ever see that video of Josh Donaldson cussing out like the crowd when he talked to the crowd about something? Or I can't remember what it was.
I have not, but Josh Donaldson is hilarious. He gets mad about everything. It's funny.
And honestly, they have done better with the quarantine going on of just showing the inter-squad games and how these players are jumping around since they're playing their teammates and stuff, and they can be happy about it. So it's a lot more interesting. They should have done this 3-4 years ago. They should have had the catcher cameras when these guys are practicing or catching a bullpen or something 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because when you see these guys throw up close and you see these guys trying to hit the ball, you think to yourself, how the fuck do these guys hit a baseball?
Yeah. People would pay to see that, MLB, by the way. If you make that a feature on MLB TV, for example. See, here we are giving you business ideas. How to take money away from us, right?
Exactly.
Bullshit,
like some inside edge thing for a team. It just had like a 30 for 30, like a not 30 for 30, or maybe like a hard knocks spring training type thing, where you have some young guys that are trying to break into the MLB. You have top prospects and utility guys that are projected to be utility guys at best. That would be so interesting to see.
Yeah, and it would be drama too.
Even did more with the minor leagues to show how these guys are trying to get their shit together in the minor leagues too. The long bus rides and all that stuff. Like,
yeah, because to the average baseball fan, the minor leagues are a mystery. There's something that
so
they hear about, they don't see at all.
Yeah, I mean, just more exposure, and then even broadcasting minor league games a little bit more, maybe. Or online, or streamers or something like that. There's so many things they could do to make the game more appealing and give them more visibility. and even doing more for the Spanish players or his Hispanic players, I should say,
Yeah.
to give them more visibility and normalize the fact that people in baseball speak Spanish. Because when you got guys on Twitter complaining about MLB reporters talking about guys that don't speak English or don't speak a lot of English or don't speak English on camera, really, you can play about a sport that has like 30% Hispanic players in the game right now speaking Spanish.
Yeah. I don't know if people realize, but English is not the only language in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
you know how xenophobic and idiotic Americans can be, especially when it comes to people that speak Spanish, because of Mexico being right there and the whole thing with Mexico on the border and this and that and all that. But the amount of xenophobia in baseball is fucking absurd for how diverse the sport is.
Yeah. People think this was golf or some shit.
Yeah,
what the fuck, dude? It's pretty ridiculous, honestly. I mean, I feel like we kind of like we've said this in different ways throughout the episodes, but really it's because MLB doesn't fucking do anything. I mean, dog, the fact. Oh my! I found the perfect example. The fact that I'm scared as shit when we do our baseball terms threads, which, by the way, you should check them out if you're a new baseball fan, because I'm dead serious. They'll probably help you out. When I do the baseball terms threads, I'm scared as shit to grab any video from actually the MLB channel. I'm scared as shit because I know there's a chance they might snipe the fucking account.
Yeah, the DMCA thing. And that got flagged on my old account for that.
Really?
And that's why
I'm not surprised, but Jesus Christ. Like when I talked about Ichiro breaking the single season hit record, I had to put a fucking picture, not the hit, because I was scared that MLB was gonna fucking bomb the account or some shit.
Oh yeah, they would have punted that account for sure. And it's bullshit. The lack of image and how even with these guys trying to use a social media platform like Trevor Bauer and how you even got friction with that from the guys.
Yeah, and he gets so much heat from people. So
I mean, I know he's a weirdo and stuff like that, and there's some tangible reason to dislike him, but when it comes to baseball and strictly baseball, cut the guy some slack.
Yeah, like, he's making good content.
I'm pretty sure he would be a better commissioner right down the route, Manfred would.
He got common sense when it comes to baseball, and he actually likes baseball. That's the thing.
Yes, and one thing we didn't talk about that should be kind of talked about is the name changes. That's kind of being proposed right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As a Cleveland baseball club fan, I guess I completely endorse the name change. And I actually, the only baseball jersey on right now is a Francisco Lindor jersey, and it has Chief Wahoo on it, and it has Indians on it. So I'm a hypocrite right now. So I have to buy more gear to replace it. I don't have any Cleveland Indians hats right now. I don't need to buy some. I completely endorse them moving away from the name Indians. I completely endorse Indians moving away from the Chief Wahoo insignia. And one thing in baseball that's a big deal is there's all these middle-aged white guys complaining about them moving away from a caricature and a slur to some people. And it's really fucking annoying. The demographics of baseball really drive people away from the game because it's just middle-aged white dudes that are...
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Do you have your papers, like, type guys? Like, really?
Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse because we talked about this a million times, but kind of feel like we're gonna end up talking about it in different ways and just basically shitting on MLB for allowing this, because they encourage it.
Yep. And one other thing we want to say is the reason we keep on circling back to this thing shows how infested all facets of baseball is with this mindset.
Yeah.
From the inside out. From the fans to the organizations themselves.
We just have endless material, basically.
Yeah.
On this topic. So
I think we cut everything for today. Do we not?
I think we did.
This is a pretty long
way
podcast.
Longer than I expected. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost 2 hours, an hour and a half. Um, this was the Pit Talk podcast, you guys. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. If you made it this far into the podcast, you got anything to say, Mario?
Well, I got a couple things to say. First of all, like Pat said, thank you for listening. If you made it this far, especially shout out to you. Make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, it's available on all platforms. And yeah, Pat said his piece. This was episode 10 of the podcast. I say this shit so I don't forget when I actually name the podcast. So that's just for me. And yeah, if you don't got anything else, then we can sign off after this.
All right. Peace, you guys. Stay safe.
Peace.